What's going on, you beautiful people? It's Cayman back with yet another video. Today we've got competition deadlifts, competition bench, and I honestly did not stick with Bulgarian split squats at all this entire time. I'm doing leg extensions and a single leg extensions and hamstring curls and 1.5 hamstring curls. But let's get into the video. We got deadlifts on a deadlift bar from Rogue, and I'm doing hook grip. Hook grip still sucks, but I'm getting better with it. I'm also trying to set back a little more here. It felt a little better. It's a little difficult to get into that position. As you'll see, I kind of make my grip a little wider to help me get into that position and be able to hook smoother and just be able to glide up my body a little better as well. Thankfully, Destin brought some liquid chalk, which helped a lot. And this, of course, since it's a deadlift bar, it's thinner in diameter, so that helps a lot with the hook as well. Another big thing that I've learned from PH Deadlift or Ben Pollock is your pinky and your ring finger plays a huge role in that. I think I mentioned it in the last video, but it really helps to set it in place, especially if the bar were to roll. So I'm going through, having a pretty good time. It honestly felt like it was going really well until I get to 455, and 455 makes it a little, it feels a little off. 405 still moved, in my opinion, pretty well. But here we get to this 455, and it felt a little slow, but I knew I could do more. So here we are at 475, which is my top single for the day.
Gosh, that burns.
Hook grip is awful. If you're not going to compete in powerlifting, I don't really recommend hook grip. I would just tell you to use lifting straps because it's the easiest way to go about it. But of course, you know, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those things are going to tell you if you use straps, then your numbers don't count. It doesn't really matter. But if you are powerlifting and you plan on competing, then I would suggest either a hook grip or a mixed grip. Hook grip is going to help alleviate some lat imbalances. You can still get it because you will always favor one side, but it's going to be tremendously less of an imbalance. And that's why I'm actually doing it. I am stronger with a mixed grip, but if I can continue to get better with hook grip, then I will suffer through having sore thumbs all the time. I have been doing sets of 5 on deadlift, but I'm dropped it down to 3. I think I do better with triples, doubles, and singles on deadlifts, and I'm getting close to testing my max. I think we're 2 weeks out. The beginning week of August, I'll test my maxes and see where I'm at to help program for the following 8 weeks. Of course, that first week after is going to be a deload week. Then we got 8 weeks of lifting. And it was a great deadlift session, 20 pounds above what I did last week, so I'll take it and move on from there. We move on to bench. I didn't have a great time, but I didn't have an awful time. My big aggravation with today was that the bench was low, and that's where you get hook grip and low benches. The bench was low, which means that my leg drive was not optimal today, and I really couldn't get a good arch either. I had to choose one or the other with this setup, so I chose leg drive, and it still wasn't even that great. I could have pulled my legs back, but I don't really like doing that anymore, so I just settled on what I'm typically used to and tried going a little wider with my legs to incorporate some leg drive. So here's 245 and we get to 265. I probably should have stopped at 265 today or done 275 and called it a day, but I really wanted something in the 280s, and you will see that's exactly what I did. And I completely overshot my RPE, but I'll take it, and we're gonna move on from there. It's another learning session for me. I mean, every session should be a learning session. And we move on to 3 sets of 5 at 225. It should have been around 210. But if you look back to last week on the 205 that I did, which was in the 68 to 75% range, it moved super quick, even with a pause. So I shot it up a little bit, and I still did pretty good every single set. On the last rep, I was kind of struggling, if that's what you want to call it. It was a good push through. I think it really did good for my chest and triceps to get that stimulation as I progressed in reps and sets. So I'll take it. And hopefully next week it'll be a better bench. Nonetheless, I won't complain at all, as like I said, it's still 5 pounds above last week, so I'll take it. Here we're finishing off with some leg extensions. My first set, well, this isn't even my first set. I did a warm-up set and then this set. I'm doing both legs just to see how it feels. And this isn't a bad machine at all. It just feels really weird on my shins. And I'm not even the biggest fan of a leg extension. I prefer other quad movements like a hack squat, leg press, Bulgarian split squat. Any of those movements, honestly, to me, are better than a leg extension. And of course, you could say, well, Cayman, why on earth are you doing a leg extension when you could just simply do a Bulgarian split squat? That's a good point. I guess I was just lazy today. But I guess I did a second set of leg extensions with both legs too. So I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Anyways, doing leg extensions. And I do think that my quads are getting bigger. There's definitely some separation coming between my quads. Of course, they're called quads because there's 4 parts to them. So keep that in mind next time that you train your quads or looking at getting some bigger quads. There's different ways to incorporate those quads, or different parts of the quads, I should say. But here's the leg extension, single leg extension. And boy, did these things catch my legs on fire. I mean, from the top of the quad all the way down to the teardrop, it was just setting me on fire, and you can see it in my facial expression that it was hurting. And my left quad is my weakest quad. That is why I am starting with my left leg, as you should with any isolateral movement. I would highly suggest that you start with your weakest leg, weakest muscle, whether it be your left bicep or your right bicep, your right tricep or your left tricep. If you're doing an isolateral movement, keep that in mind. You don't want to go do 15 reps on your strongest side and do 12 reps on your weakest side. That's not going to do you any good. Move on to hamstring curls, and my first set, I'm pretty sure it's my only set that I did with just full reps and no half rep in between. I just wanted to feel it out, see how it was going. I had full intentions of just doing full reps, but then I remembered something that Ben Pollock talked about, and wanting to grow your hamstrings, especially as a power lifter, is do a rep and a half. And that's exactly what I did in the following 2 videos. When you look at it, I do think that I was more of like a rep and 3/4, but it was my first time really doing them, and I had no really guide for me to tell where I was at when it came to the halfway mark. And I was still in pain, whether it be a 3/4 or a half or a quarter of a rep. But this way you get to work on that mind to muscle that you really need. And as I said in my last video when I was talking about the Cossack squat, you really need your hamstrings, especially when it comes to the concentric portion of the squat. So build those up and don't get injured. I mean, it's just as simple as that. After this, I did some banded triceps. I didn't record it, but if you have the ability to use bands, I would highly suggest use bands. They'll keep you safe unless you just stack on bands and try to do max effort, then you'll probably die, which I don't suggest at all. That's the end of this video. Glaxon is dropping their Tiger Blood series on July 26th, this upcoming Tuesday. You can still use code Cayman15 to get 15% off. Buy some amazing products that are backed up by science. Use it, abuse it, help yourself, help me out. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.